In this editorial, the thrust has been given upon the human infection studies that should be controlled via policies made under the aegis of ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research. The content therein has primarily focused upon the following areas. Working of ICMR. It is the apex body in India for the formulation, coordination, and promotion of biomedical research. ICMR operates under the Department of Health Research, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. Key functions and roles of the Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR, include 1. Research promotion. 2. Disease surveillance. 3. Epidemiological studies. 4. Clinical trials. 5. Vaccine research and development. 6. Capacity building. 7. Health policy recommendations. 8. National institutes. ICMR has played a vital role in advancing medical and public health research in India, contributing to the understanding and management of various health challenges faced by the country. Its efforts have helped in improving healthcare outcomes, developing new treatment protocols, and guiding public health policies. Controlled human infection studies and ethics. Controlled human infection studies, CHIS, also known as human challenge trials, are scientific studies in which healthy volunteers are deliberately exposed to infectious agents, such as viruses or bacteria, in a controlled environment. The goal of these studies is to gain a better understanding of the disease, the human immune response, and to test the efficacy of potential treatments or vaccines. CHIS are typically conducted with pathogens for which there are already existing treatments or preventive measures. Key points about controlled human infection studies. 1. Informed consent. 2. Controlled environment. 3. Small sample size. 4. Accelerated research. 5. Safety measures, ethical considerations. CHIS have been historically used to study various infectious diseases, including influenza, malaria, cholera, and more. In 2020 to 2021, CHIS gained significant attention during the development of COVID-19 vaccines. However, their implementation for COVID-19 was debated due to the novel nature of the virus and the absence of proven treatments at the time. Overall, controlled human infection studies can provide valuable insights into infectious diseases and aid in the development of effective treatments and vaccines, but they must be conducted with the utmost consideration for the participants' safety and well-being. Clinical trials and examples. Bioethics is a branch of ethics that deals with the moral and philosophical implications of advances in biological and medical sciences. It involves the study and consideration of ethical dilemmas and issues arising from research, medical practice, and technological innovations in the fields of biology, medicine, and healthcare. Key principles and areas of focus include 1. Autonomy. 2. Beneficence. 3. Non-maleficence. 4. Justice. 5. Informed consent. 6. Privacy and confidentiality. 7. Dignity. 8. Research ethics. 9. Beginning of life issues. 10. End of life issues. 11. Organ transplantation. 12. Genetic engineering and gene editing. Bioethics plays a crucial role in guiding healthcare professionals, researchers, policymakers, and society at large in making ethical decisions and developing policies that protect the well-being of individuals and uphold moral principles. It involves interdisciplinary collaboration between professionals in medicine, philosophy, law, theology, sociology, and other fields to address complex ethical challenges that arise in the rapidly evolving fields of biology and medicine. To put it the editorial in a nutshell. At a time when the whole world is focused on protecting itself from the novel coronavirus SARS-CoV-2, more than 20,000 people from 102 countries have enrolled on a U.S. website to voluntarily infect themselves with the virus, with the purpose to study the virus and its implications on the human body. What is the human challenge? Controlled human infection studies, or human challenge studies, involve the deliberate infection of healthy volunteers. Such studies can be particularly valuable for testing vaccines, and they can be substantially faster to conduct than vaccine field trials in order to provide preliminary estimates of efficacy and safety. It is the human challenge in the quest for a vaccine against the COVID-19 disease, and the objective is to test whether a given vaccine works on any of these infected persons. Earlier usage of deliberate infection strategy. Human challenge trials are routinely done for diseases such as malaria, dengue, influenza, and cholera, which extract a heavy public health toll, but are not deadly. Back in 1796, Edward Jenner, father of the smallpox vaccine, used the deliberate infection strategy on 6,000 people to test the efficacy of his vaccine that eventually became the principal reason for the eradication of smallpox. In 1976, the U.S. National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases did a challenge study against cholera. The first well-described influenza challenge study was published by the U.S.-based Vaccine Advocacy Group in 1937 and involved the inhalation of a human influenza virus. After 2009 H1N1 pandemic, researchers at the National Institute of Health, NIH, began using human challenge models to investigate and develop countermeasures against influenza A. Need of human challenge in COVID-19 scenario. There is currently no approved treatment against COVID-19, and this means that there are only two ways of stopping the global proliferation of SARS-CoV-2. The first is herd immunity, when a critical mass of people in a given population gets infected by the virus, develop some immunity against it, and stop further transmission of the disease, but it involves a lot of death and suffering, and there is also an element of uncertainty because nobody knows how long immunity against COVID lasts in a person who has already had it. The second way of stopping it is by developing a vaccine. Therefore, so much work going on across the world on a COVID vaccine. Is it ethical to infect people deliberately with a virus? There are no easy answers to this. That is why it is important to choose volunteers with care, informed consent sought from them, before going ahead with the actual act of infection. WHO, in its guidance document, mentioned that human challenge studies are nonetheless ethically sensitive and must be carefully designed and conducted in order to minimize harm to volunteers and preserve public trust in research, and investigators must adhere to standard research ethics requirements. Way forward. WHO says that in the last 50 years, challenge studies have been performed safely in hands of thousands of consenting adult volunteers under the oversight of research ethics committees, and these studies have recently helped to accelerate the development of vaccines against typhoid and cholera, among others. Based on the data available so far, who estimates that participation in SARS-CoV-2 challenge studies would be the least risky for young healthy adults? In ages 18 to 30 years, whether healthy or not, hospitalization rates for COVID-19 are currently estimated to be around 1% and fatal infection rates around 0.03%. These challenge studies allowed us to understand more about the human immune response to influenza and test preventative and therapeutic measures. Now let's discuss the questions that could be asked from above editorial. How far the ethical genesis lies in the hands of controlled human infection studies in India. Briefly give the Indian Statutory Framework with reference to ICMR and controlled human infection studies.